Yes, welcome everyone here to the Smash Sport Show right here on Smash FM here on a lockdown Monday here in Melbourne. And of course, let's continue with the world game of football. And of course, we continue with Southern United in particular. And we've had the 16s in the Open senior team last week. Of course, this week we've turned our attention to the 19s. And of course, we've got a very special guest on the show because her name is Indy. She joins us right now. Thanks, Indy, for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Will.
No worries. Well, normally I'll be asking a bit about the season, but that hasn't happened at all. I guess, how has it been like with no football at all for 2020?
It has sucked. We had a really good pre-season though, and it was all very exciting. So it's really unfortunate to see that we can't play this season, especially with our first season in the VPL. But we'll just have to come back stronger next season, I guess. But yeah, it has been pretty crappy, as you can imagine.
Now, you mentioned that the 19s have dropped to VPL from the NPL for the first time. I guess, how's it been like? As you mentioned, you've had a pretty good pre-season heading towards it. And what was the expectations on the team in the VPL?
It was really good. We were really driven, coached by Mel Maisels this season, and she was really good at inspiring us all to, come back with a bang and prove that we should be in the NPL and try to, hopefully have a really good season in the VPL and prove that we can play really good football.
Now, you mentioned a bit about your coach. Obviously, she played in the W League and multiple NPL teams. I guess... And, of course, she's a goalkeeper as well. Tell us how special to have a calibre coach like her which she still plays.
Oh, it's incredible. Having someone there with the experience and also someone who can understand exactly what we're going through, being a woman in football and professional football and just having that professional aspect as well as being Mel Maisel, so she's just funny and she's very approachable and it's a very easy environment to kind of play in.
Now, tell us a bit about the team itself and, did you manage to recruit any new players for supposedly the season it was meant to start?
Well, we got Jennifer Lum back from America. She played with us a bit last season. She's incredible. Obviously, having international stars in the team is really inspiring too, to see, we can really go places with football and travel the world. We had I think we had another American girl who was supposed to be coming, but we didn't get to meet her, unfortunately, given coronavirus and all that fun stuff. And we had a few girls. I think we had a girl from South Melbourne who was going to come in, so having those experienced players who were going to come into our team really gave all the younger girls something to look up to, especially, I'm only 17 and I was going to play in the 19s this season, which is normal, but I was bottom age. So having older women who with that much experience to look up to was really inspiring and helped drive the team a lot.
Now, I know you don't want to single out any of your teammates, but was there a couple of the 19s players we should have looked out for this current season, or supposedly this current season?
Yeah, we had a few of the younger girls who were playing up. So we had Macy Butler. She is, I think she's 15 or 16, and Alex Jones, who's also 15. Those having young talents come up into senior squads is amazing, and gives the older girls something to look at as well, being young with their fitness and enthusiasm and stuff. That's really, really cool, and they're definitely players to watch out for. Young girls on the pitch, so always leave their marks. And we also had, because we were training 19s and seniors, being able to train with the older girls like Patty and Jen and all the other girls, actually, they're all incredible, was just gave everyone something to really look out for and to set our standards, I guess.
Of course, we'll get a chance to interview Macy later in the week, so I'll give her the good word that you mentioned her in that. So that one for you. Now, of course, for yourself, I guess, how were you travelling personally yourself in regards to like the pre-season?
Really well. It was a really good start to this season. last season I was in the under-16s and unfortunately had to leave that team this season, which was upsetting, but it gave me something to really work hard for. And as I said, with the first season in VPL, everyone's mindsets were really driven and it's just, everyone was ready for it. It's really upsetting that it had to turn out like this, but we'll definitely be back stronger and better next season.
Now, I'm assuming, considering what's been going on, no sports at all. So obviously you weren't the only ones. Everyone's had that problem this year. I guess, has this almost become a very, very long pre-season to 2021?
Yeah. Oh, incredibly long. But I think that it's just going to help us come back stronger, as it will every other player. I think it could be used really well. You have girls who are still training really hard and eating really well and working hard, and then hopefully we'll see them all come back out next season even better with the given time we've had to improve and stuff.
Now, what have you been doing in regards to football-wise at home to sort of keep your fitness up and ready to go once the actual pre-season starts again for 2021?
Finally. So at the moment, I'm getting down to the local soccer pitch as much as I can with my dad, which is awesome. We love having a kick together. I've been walking my dogs every day, trying to get out and keep fit. It's hard with everything going on, but it's definitely worth it to try and get out as much as I can. And I've also been dragged into doing Pilates with my sister at the moment with online classes. I never thought I'd be a Pilates girl, but it is very good for strength and endurance and everything.
Yes.
So I'm finding it's actually beneficial.
Now, talking about Pilates, I've done that myself with another sporting club, and I know exactly what it's like because.
It's crazy.
Now, I need to ask you, how have you been coping with the Pilates part of it?
Oh, I'm not the most flexible person ever, so that's a bit of a struggle, but hopefully I'm improving. It's getting a little bit easier as I go along, but still definitely a struggle. We'll get there.
Oh, don't worry. I'm facing the same problem myself, so don't worry about that one. Now, let's talk a bit about your football journey. Where did it all start and why did you choose it?
So I was never actually a soccer player. I was always a basketballer, and my dad was a crazy AFL fan. So it's really crazy that we've ended up playing soccer, and my dad's all for soccer now, which is awesome. But I remember 2014 Brazil World Cup. Dad would wake me up every morning at like 4 a.m. and we'd go out and watch it. I think I was in year 5 when this was happening. Yeah, year 5. So Dad and I would go out and watch the soccer every morning, which was awesome and really inspired me. And then in primary school, I started playing lots with all the boys. Not many girls played, but didn't bother me. I'd still go out and have a kick, which was awesome. And it pretty much carried on like that for 2 years. Me and Dad watching as much soccer as we can and me just playing at school. And then in 2016, which is when I went into high school, I started playing at a local community club, Mount Martha, where I played for 2 seasons, which was a great experience and a great club and great girls who I still keep in touch with. And then 2018 was my first season at Southern United. I went and trialled in January after contacting Aaron Myatt, who was at the time, I think he was the 19s coach. Mm-hmm. And he said, come in, have a kick, we'll see. So I went. I wasn't my best fitness or anything at the time, but they really took a chance on me. And with the encouragement and support that I got in my first season, it really drove me to become a really driven player, I guess, and gave me inspiration to carry on and keep playing at Southern.
Now, what will be some highlights throughout your world game journey so far at Southern?
Oh, scored my first goal at Southern last season against Bayside, which was awesome. Being a centre-back goalkeeper, scoring a goal is a pretty big deal. I hold it dear to my heart, although I'm pretty sure no one else would remember it, but I do. The semi-final last season, Southern United under-16s versus South Melbourne. It was 0-0 the whole game, and then went over to full time and then overtime, and it was still 0-0. And then we had a penalty shootout, and I was on the pitch, and I put my hand up to take a penalty, and we ended up winning on penalties, which was awesome because we had a pretty up and down season last season. So being able to come out and make it to the grand final was absolutely incredible. And then, of course, grand final day, that's got to be a highlight. That was absolutely incredible. The environment and atmosphere. Most of the girls had played in grand finals before, and NPL grand finals too, and I hadn't even been close. So having that under my belt, being able to have that experience has definitely helped me improve as a player, which was awesome.
Now, obviously, I don't want to go back to last year and that grand final last year. I was out there to watch all unfold. Unfortunately, didn't get the result that you wanted in that game. It was a pretty good game to watch. Went pretty much right down to the wire as well. Very similar to all the other ones that Southern's been involved in with that group of that playing group in particular. How was it like going out there on grand final day?
Incredible. Atmosphere was insane. All the parents were so excited. The girls were so excited. Everyone was nervous. It was funny seeing some of our strongest players just being besides themselves and being so nervous to play in the grand final. But it was so exciting. And although we didn't get the result, unfortunately, I think it's really something that helped all of us improve as players and give us a better mindset and realise, maybe next season we'll come back stronger. Although this season hasn't happened, maybe next season we'll come back stronger.
Now, as you mentioned, it was a very long journey to get to the grand final. I think you had to play every single final game, which was an elimination game in every one of them to get there. Now, reflecting on it, I'm assuming you had a chance to reflect on it, was it just an amazing journey that you had, like the team had last year in regards to, not many people thought that you could get there in the first place in the grand final, but obviously challenged the way you did in that grand final?
Yeah, it was totally, I wouldn't say unexpected because I think we all knew that we could do it and we're a very strong side, but we were one of the youngest under-16 sides last season, I think. I think pretty much everyone was bottom age except for me and a few other teammates. So obviously being younger and stuff, we had all those challenges that we were already going to face. But midway through the season, I think our mindset's really changed and we realised how much we wanted it and how much we deserved it and kind of just upped our game and stuck it to everyone and showed them that we could do it, which was awesome. And it was great being able to come from one of our lowest points to making it into the grand final. It was awesome.
Now, just staying on last season, you mentioned about that thrilling first game in the finals against South Melbourne, which they finished on top of the ladder, or very close to being on top of the ladder. And it went right down to the wire, went to that dreaded penalty shootout that everyone hates. I guess, obviously, it's an awful way to finish a game.
Terrifying.
If you're on the wrong end of it. I guess, but obviously your team were on the right end of it. For you, especially you mentioned you took the penalty one of those penalty shootouts. How nerve-wracking was it? Because it was literally between you and the goalkeeper and there was no one else. So
it was all eyes on me when I was lining up for the penalty kick and I was following Reese McKenna and Taylor Hennecum taking my penalty, which are two massive players to follow up. I knew I had to convert it and I was so nervous. I actually didn't play most of that game. I was on the bench, but once I came on, it was kind of like, all right, head in the game. We've got to really get stuck into it. But definitely having all your teammates' trust and everything to be able to take that penalty and hopefully convert it to get into the grand final, it's like the most energy and most nervousness I've ever felt in my life. But scoring it is the best moment of my life and everyone was just so happy when we won that game. It was incredible.
Well, I guess it goes to show that defenders can make big plays in finals matches. I know a lot of people don't think defenders can score, but of course they can score. So now, of course, I've got to. You mentioned what position you played on the field a moment ago, and we mentioned obviously you play down back. Do you have a preferred position where you love to play in? Is maybe going down the other end of the field maybe something you want to do?
I've always loved it. I used to have a big eye for goal when I first kind of got into the game, but being a taller girl as well, I think I kind of had it set in stone that I was going to be a defender or a goalkeeper, which I love anyways. But when I do get an opportunity to go up the field, I try to make the most of it. Can't say I'm the best, but I do try. But yeah, I love defending, and I couldn't ask for a better position, to be honest. It's great.
Now, I'm assuming one of your inspiration players is obviously your current coach, because she plays in the exact same position you do play. Of course, Mel, tell us what sort of advice has she given you throughout your time so far?
Well, with me, I was always more of a defender, but I could kind of goal keep. And then towards the end of last season, I kind of got in goals a bit more, which was nice. But having Mel Maisels there, who's an incredible goalkeeper, and also being able to watch her play a little bit last season, gave me something to really look up to. And she's got the best inspirational chats before a game. If you're about to go on and you have Mel talking to you, you know you're about to have the best game of your life. Just the way she pumps you up and everything. And might not be the best goalkeeper, but I give it my 100%. And having a coach like her really, really helps that.
And what does the sport of the world game mean to you, and especially playing there at Southern?
Absolutely everything. Currently I'm completing VCE, which is very hard. So being able to play soccer and train and see my mates and stuff really gives my brain a bit of a break and helps me relax, and it's always such a good time. And also just from watching it with Dad in 2014 to being able to play at Southern United, a club that I've only ever received support and encouragement from. And it really gives me a sense of, homely feelings and happiness being at that club. And ideally, I'd never want to play anywhere else because of all the experiences that they've given me that I'll forever be grateful for.
Now, of course, the great announcement maybe a month ago now that obviously the Women's World Cup is down here in Australia, and obviously New Zealand as well, in 2023. Is there, I'm assuming you want to be going to a couple of those games, and if so, is there a particular country that you want to watch other than Australia?
Obviously the Matildas, I love them. I actually went to the France World Cup, the Women's World Cup in 2019, and watched the Matildas versus Brazil, which is a great rivalry, and the atmosphere is incredible. So I definitely have to catch a Brazil and Matildas game. I'm also a massive fan of the American women's, of course. They're incredible. So I think being able to see them in person would be awesome. And I think they're definitely a great team to watch out for, as well as the French ladies and the Lionesses. They're incredible, the English women. But I will take anything I can get to be able to watch the Women's World Cup, to be honest.
And I guess when you heard the announcement, what did that mean to you in regards to our game down here?
Oh, everything. Being able to see the football culture of other countries as well. Me and my family actually travelled a little bit last year throughout Europe, and seeing the football culture over there only gives us something to look forward to, especially with the women's game developing over here. I think for everyone in Australia, not just little girls, being able to watch the Women's World Cup on our home soil is going to be so inspiring and just give everyone something to look up to. And it's going to be entertainment for the whole of Australia, not just girls, but also it will definitely impact the women's game down here and hopefully inspire a few more little Matildas.
Now, what will be your advice to our listeners out there that should get involved in the world game once we get our lockdown?
Definitely never give up. Find what made you have that passion in the game and, study it and watch the games and become inspired by all of our idols that we have nowadays. Like all of the women's players, even the men's, they're all so inspiring, and football has excelled incredibly, especially in the past few years, especially for women. Just study it and enjoy it and make sure you love what you do and push yourself and surround yourself with people who are just going to support you and make you be the best athlete that you can be.
Now, let's finish up with a couple of lighthearted questions about your teammates. This year or last year? Firstly, now I've got a feeling I know most of these answers based on when I into the 16s this year already, considering obviously you were your teammates last year. So I'm going to ask it anyway. I've got a feeling I know what half of these answers are going to be. Firstly, we'll start off with, what was the most embarrassing moment by anyone this year or last year?
Oh, I think we've had a few good knockouts. I know Sarah Tebbit from the seniors copped a good ball in the head and a good knockout. I think I got a really good one at Bulleen last season as well. I actually jumped up to block it and it just knocked me off my feet completely. I think there are always some good moments when the player gets up and is all right. It's not good if it is otherwise. We have Reese McKenna. She is the forward for, you know Reese already. The under 16s. She will cause any defender absolute strife. She is funny. She'll always be singing and dancing and trying to tell you jokes. If you're matched up against Reese McKenna, you've got no chance.
Oh, Reese is going to love this. I think she's been stitched up so many times already by everyone so far.
She loves it though. She will absolutely love it.
We might have to try and let Reese know about this one. Now, who's the comedian in the team?
Last season's team, we had some really good banter with Tanisha Hogan, Emily Ryan and Alex Jones. They're the defensive team. They've always got really, really good banter, so it's hard to, take it seriously with them around. And this season, probably Sarah Tebbit and Paddy Karasik. They're both very funny girls on the seniors team and very hard to take seriously, especially in training. You never leave without a laugh. As well as Mel Maisels. She is the funniest coach I've ever had, ever. She's so, not scary, but because she's so professional and so talented, she can be quite intimidating, but she's just so funny and so lighthearted. It is great entertainment.
Obviously, Patty and Emily's been mentioned quite a few times on that question too. So we're going a good strike rate at the moment. Now, I've got to feel I know the answer to this one because you just mentioned it, which is best singer or dancer in the team?
Reese McKenna. Reese McKenna from the 16s, no doubt. Change rooms, she'll be dancing and singing. I've got videos of it. I've got proof. You get matched up against Reese, she will be singing and dancing, even in training. Deb hates it, but it's Reese. You just got to learn to love it. Nothing can change it.
Oh, now, do you have a pre-game superstition or ritual?
Not really, to be honest. My dad always makes me toast in the morning. I can't eat anything but toast on a game day. That's just the given. That's what I have to do. We do at soccer. Always have a kick in the change rooms. We've had a few we used to be at Frankston Pines last season. We've had a few lights come down and a few hits. It's mostly Reese and Taylor Hennecum having a kick in the change rooms, and you just got to watch out before the games. You got to hide because you'll get hit or tackled or something. They'll do something to you.
Oh dear. Now, did the team have a pre-game song to hype the team up? And if so, who ran the playlist and what was the worst song on it?
Sydney James used to always play the music last season in the change rooms. We had Break My Stride. That was a really good one. Red Light, Green Light. That was Reese's favourite. Or she'd belt some Ed Sheeran, which was very strange because that doesn't really get you in the mood for a soccer game, does it? But Reese would be singing to it and all in good spirits. It was great entertainment. Get you in the mood.
And of course, we'll finish off with this one last one. Now, obviously, a play that you haven't mentioned, which got mentioned quite a few times in the 16s, was Danitza. Now,
Oh,
you forgot about her, haven't you?
yeah. Oh, she deserved a mention. Oh, God. She's just so funny. I can't even. She can't take her seriously. She'll have the most serious chat with Deb ever, and it's Danitza, so it can't be serious. And she'll just joke around, and she's an incredible player, like so talented, and she plays seriously and works really hard, but she's just definitely lightens the mood a bit.
No, I have to ask. You almost answered it. Which is, who's the best one out of in regards to who's the best personality out of Danitza and Reese?
Oh, the best personality. Danitza's got a very strong personality, which is awesome. She's got her own opinions and she knows what she wants to do. But if you ever need any sort of comedy, then it's definitely Reese, I think. You just can't take her seriously ever. See, Danitza will go serious mode and game face, and then Reese will just be the biggest clown, but then when it comes game time, she's the team's highest scorer. It just makes no sense. She's crazy.
Okay, in other words, I think that might be a tie then between those two. But Indy, thank you so much for giving up your time to join us. It's awesome having you on the show, and hopefully we'll get to meet you in person once the 2021 season gets underway, and can't wait to meet everyone down at Southern at the brand spanking new venue down there at Carrum Downs.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for having me, Will.
No worries. And that's Indy there, joins from the 19s, of course, the VPL women's team down there at Southern. Was make sure we get down to Carrum Downs once we all get out of lockdown to watch the mighty Southern team in action in 2021. There's more on the Smash Sport Show right after this. Don't go away. Here on the Monday edition.